questions, just raise your hand and I'll call it. Coach?
I appreciate everybody being here. What a beautiful day inside of Neyland Stadium. A huge day for the future of our program. Obviously, what we were doing on the field, but a lot of things going on this weekend. Beautiful day, over 58,000 people showing up here on Rocky Top. Unbelievable turnout from our fan base. Absolute best in the country. Thank them for the energy that they created outside of the stadium with everything that we had going on this weekend. That was hugely important, and they showed up in droves. To our VFLs that showed up, I think we had over 300 former players that were here this weekend. A great weekend to celebrate what they have done, what they meant to our program and do mean to our program, and also celebrate what's going on here currently and what we're going to continue to build together with them. And just a great weekend, a lot of fun, seeing a lot of our guys compete today. We obviously held some guys out that would have had an opportunity to go if it was during the course of the season, but a great opportunity to see a lot of our young guys show up in front of a crowd like this for the first time, get a chance to see what it looks like and feels like inside of Neyland Stadium and really in the landscape of college football. So a ton of things that we're going to learn from, but really proud of the effort and energy that they showed today, and really what they've shown throughout the course of spring ball. These guys have been very intentional in the way that they've worked since January. They got great camaraderie and energy and connection. They care about one another, but they compete extremely hard with each other too, and that's shown up during the 14 days of spring ball that we've had up until this point. So open it up for questions.
Questions. Adam?
Josh, you mentioned the 58,000 people that came. Do you think are people coming to see the new players? Do you think it's a buzz from last season? Why do you think so many people came?
I think it's a combination of everything. It's a spring game is the first time that our fan base has had an opportunity to congregate together, in some ways celebrate the end of last season. They haven't had a chance to experience that inside of Neyland Stadium together. It's an opportunity to get their first look at what our Vols are going to look like next season. And included in that, you get an opportunity to see some of the young guys that haven't had an opportunity to play a ton of meaningful snaps. You throw all that together, you throw the environment that is outside of the stadium. It's a great day here on Rocky Top, and can't thank them enough for showing up the way that they do. This fan base is truly special.
Josh, you talk about spring being a time for experiment. How did you handle play calling today? Is it the way you're going to do it during the regular season?
Today I let Joey handle it up top. Obviously, Glenn's always instrumental in what we're doing, and it's an opportunity for those guys to continue to grow. Typically do that every time during the course of a spring game.
Coach Heupel, the secondary was obviously an area of emphasis coming into the offseason, and you've been with these guys every day throughout camp through the offseason. Can you tell us a little bit about what you saw from them today, and was there some improvement in that area?
There's been improvement in that area during the course of the entirety of spring ball, and truly in the offseason too. Just their accountability and what they're doing, their maturity on and off the field. But it showed up in what they're doing on the field too. Fundamentals, technique, understanding of scheme, playing with discipline, playing with correct eyes and leverage. We're 14 days in. We got a long ways to go, but I like that we have competition. A year ago, that group was banged up. A lot of guys didn't get opportunity to grow during spring ball. We had some of that during training camp, and throughout the course of the season, it was kind of mix and match during the course of the season. We need that group to be healthy. We need great competition, and we're going to need some guys to continue to step up. From the old guys that have played on our roster that you guys have seen to the young guys, we got to continue to develop that, anticipate great competition as we get into training camp.
Josh, could you just discuss Joe and Nico, what you saw out of them? And as a former quarterback yourself, how much did you hate touch sacks?
Yeah, well, it's not real football at the end of the day. The defense is going to say the same thing too, right? Those guys do a great job of trying to pull off and make sure that we're not putting the quarterback in a susceptible position where they get, a hand that goes into the helmet. So it works and cuts both ways. For the quarterbacks today, I thought there was a lot of game management that was really good. All in all, their eyes, decision-making, pretty sound. There's some things accuracy-wise that we got to continue to get better. There's some things in situational football that you can't do that they'll learn from. That group's been really good with the way they compete and help each other in the meeting room, out on the grass. There's a lot of development that's left inside of that room. So I love what they've done this spring. but we got to continue to grow. And that's the reality of where you're at when you end spring ball. You got a long ways to go before you're ready to play a football game. We have time. We got to be urgent in the way that we prepare. That starts when we get rolling next week.
Coach, with Cam Selden, had the touchdown, a couple of nice catches on the perimeter. Is that what you sort of seen from him all spring, the ability to run between the tackles and get on space?
Really unique player, just with his skill set and the background that he has, from playing running back to playing in the slot and the outside to playing on the defensive side of the football. He's played a lot of different positions. He's never had a true home. We felt like it was important to give him a home here early and grow and expand from that. He's been really good in what he's done inside the running back room. He cares. He competes really hard. For a guy that's got high-end, top gear, electric speed, he's willing to stick his foot in the ground, get vertical, get underneath his pads, find a way to get +2. He's going to continue to grow. Who he is today, man, I expect him to be dramatically better when we get to the kickoff of next September. And I say that just because he's going to continue to grow with the way that he works. He's got a really high-end ceiling. His ability to be a pass catcher out of the backfield, really unique and obviously a skill set that we want here.
Mike, did know
An update, I guess, on Ethan Davis, and was that related to that high school injury? And prior to that,
It's not related to the high school injury. We'll know more here on the back end of today.
What do you think, I guess, of his performance prior to that?
Similar to what we've seen from him. You guys haven't had an opportunity to see him other than in some of our individual work at the beginning of practice. He's been really good. Played well. He understands space. He understands how to get himself open. He plays long and physical to the catch. He's done a really nice job throughout spring ball.
Noah back left.
Coach, there's been some talk the last few weeks about spring games involving actual opponents. Do you have a position on that? Is that something you'd like to see maybe in the future?
I don't know what the right thing is. I think for myself, making sure that we're taking care of our quarterback as we come out of spring ball would be something that I would want to make sure happens.
Yeah, Coach, just curious how you feel like Joe Milton has grown from a couple of years until now. Where have you seen him most in his game, and where are you most confident in him, whereas maybe at first you weren't?
Yeah, I think some of that starts with off the field and being really sure in who he is and what he's about, defining and growing in his work habits. That's allowed him to be more consistent and grow inside of what we're doing. If you talk about just the football player, I think it starts with understanding of what we're doing, understanding defenses, being consistent with his reads, and then you pair that with growth fundamentally, getting his feet in the ground, being in a consistent, positive position to be able to deliver a football, work from the ground up. You pair those things together, he's able to grow, and you saw some of that in the way that he played at the end of last year, and he's had a really good spring.
Two things. You guys obviously held some guys out at wide receiver, and you ask a lot of your wide receivers.
Yeah.
Anything jump out about those guys out there?
4 out of the top receivers weren't playing today. 3 of them would certainly be able to play if it was a normal game week. That group as a whole has been really good in what they've done during the course of spring ball. We've been banged up a little bit throughout the course of it. Anticipate that being an electric group when we get to fall. They're long, they're competitive, they have speed, they have a pretty good understanding of what we're doing right now offensively. We're going to need them to play at a really high level as we get into fall. The guys that have been playing here have absolutely competed extremely hard throughout the course of spring ball. Because some of those other guys have been held out at times, there's been extra pressure applied to those guys because of the reps. We want to make sure that we're getting for our entire football team. Can't say enough about what that group has done under Coach Pope's direction.
And then the other 2 backs that you didn't mention was Sampson and Bishop. What you saw them?
It wasn't me that didn't mention them. I think I just got asked about one guy. Okay, all right. Just make sure I throw that out there. You're asking about Bishop and yeah. Sam's had a lot of great work throughout the course of spring ball. Dynamic, continued to grow in his ability to understand what we're doing. As a smaller back that's really dynamic out in space, he's got a really unique sense and feel for delivering double teams, really pressing the line of scrimmage and based on the second level fits and third level fits at time, hitting the back door. He's been really good. I love the growth. All of those backs have done a really nice job in pass protection. That's been something that we've spent a lot of time on here during the course of spring ball too. Like their growth as a complete group. Coach Mack's done a great job with them. Deshaun Bishop, for a freshman that's coming on campus, should be going to his prom here next week or the following week. Maybe he is too. I don't know that. He's local enough, but he's been really good, man. He's got great vision, got great pace, and he's handled spring ball as a newcomer extremely well.
Joe, then Wes.
Yeah, just on Nico, I was wondering what you think about his instincts for kind of escaping pressure and extending plays, and just where have you seen him grow the most during the spring?
Yeah, his ability to do those things is certainly a skill set that was important to us in the recruiting process. He does have a really good feel for a young guy inside of the pocket, when to step up, when to escape out the backside. He's dynamic and explosive as just an athlete, so he's got the ability to get away from defenders. And you saw him make a play down the sideline. Ethan did a great job on scramble drill, wheeling it on the sideline. Really beautiful, accurate throw by Nico. He's got the ability to get himself in great body position when he's out in space. And he's got people chasing him, and when he doesn't have the ability, because of where the bodies are out in space, to get himself in perfect position, he's able to still be accurate with the football. He's got a really unique skill set as he's break and contain.
I guess the 13 quarterback, would really just be a couple plays away potentially from being the guy. So with that said, with Gaston Moore, what do you think of what you saw today, and what do you think of just him overall as a player? He's not a guy we've seen a lot.
Yeah, for a guy that's been in our system here now, maybe 3 years, this is the most work that he's been able to get. Just because of where the depth chart has been, as he got here on campus and, quarterback competitions, we saw him grow during the course of spring ball. There's some things that I really liked that he did today. There's a couple of things that I want to make sure that I see on tape before I just trust explicitly what he told me on the sidelines. But I love and appreciate what he brings every single day to this program.
Two more, David, then Patrick.
Josh, can you just talk about what the next couple of months are like, what you want to get out of the next couple of months, and how different will they be from your first year when you were just constantly in catch-up mode after getting here late?
Well, it's different. Our roster's different. The understanding of what we're doing inside of our program is completely different. Not just, the X's and O's, the fundamentals, the technique, and who and what we want to be on a daily basis. For us, our guys will get back in the weight room here next week. There's some gains that they got to make. This is a unique time of year where they got a chance to be very intentional in adding some size and mass to their frames. They'll get a couple weeks off and be back here as we get ready for summer. Late April, May, June, and July, you got to win those months if you're going to have a chance when you get to September. And this group's been very mature in how they've handled themselves. It's one of the things that I love about them. Love seeing them when they come into the building. They're super competitive and have done things the right way. Anticipate us continuing down that stretch here as we get into May.
Coach, your offensive line, a lot of moving pieces. Seems like you guys are rotating a lot of tackles. Some spots inside are open. How big are these next few months for that group as those competitions continue?
Yep. Today's, not the end of the competition at any position. Guys have a chance to be dramatically different, by the way that they work in May, June, and July, come back to training camp, and you got to give a chance for them to be a different player and judge them for who they are during the course of training camp. The offensive line, great competition at the tackle spots, interiorly too. I think you guys have probably seen guys work multiple positions, left and right. Expect there to be great competition as we go throughout training camp as well. I do like that we are a deeper unit than we have been our first 2 years. You never know when and if you're going to need that for sure.
All right, thank you. We'll have players shortly.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a great Saturday evening.